Welcome to the fourth video in learning C++. We're going to talk about arrays and loops. So consider when you might have a lot of data. So much data, in fact, that you don't want to create a variable for each element of data. Maybe you don't even know how much data there's going to be. Well, it's possible to create a structure known as an array. And an array is just a sequence of data of the same type, all right next to each other in memory. So in this diagram, you can see that I have an array of numbers, and I've given that array a name, A. Now, I haven't put A right beside the array, but rather pointed it to it, and we'll talk about that in a later video. So let's see how arrays are implemented in C++. So an array of integers called A would be declared like this. That array has a size, 8, and that size is placed between the square brackets. We can also initialize the values of the array by using an assignment and using curly braces and a comma-separated list of values. C++ allows you to leave out the array size, and it will infer the array size from the size of your initializer list. To access the element of an array, you simply use the array's name and square brackets and an integer value as an index into the array. So if I were to build this program and run it, we would see that we've outputted the element 4 of the array. Now, notice that it's actually the 5th element that's being output, not the 4th element for index 4. That's because arrays are 0 indexed. The first element has index 0. We'll talk about why that is in a later video. Now, we wouldn't want to write code and copy-paste it 8 times just to do the same thing to every element of this array. And we might have 100 things in this array. So, how do we make a general way of repeating code? Well, that's where loops come in. There are a few types of loops, and I'll talk about the 2 most common types. First, we have a while loop. The syntax for while uses the while keyword, followed by parentheses, and a Boolean expression. So here, the code right after the while within the curly braces will be executed repeatedly until the condition in the while expression is false. Also, note this operator, plus plus. This is equivalent to saying that b is assigned the value of b plus 1. And it's a common shorthand in C++. So now, if I were to run this program, the values of the array are printed out in order, and then the program terminates. Now this pattern, where we initialize an indexer, increment the indexer every time, and loop until a condition is met, is so common that it's actually supported with what's called a for loop. The for loop syntax is equivalent to this. In the next video, we'll be doing an example on sorting an array.